Daniel Blakey's team isn't alone in trying to secure a win. It's likely to get some unsolicited support from Leadnow, an independent advocacy organization determined to oust the Conservatives from power.
So we're asking people if they'd consider voting together in the upcoming election in order to defeat the Conservatives in their riding.
Together? How do you mean that?
So because the vote was split between the NDP, Liberals, and Greens in this riding, the Conservative candidate was elected with less than the majority of the vote.
What can I do? I'm one person.
So exactly.
That's where we come in.
That's where we come in. So we can provide you with information. We have people signing up on our
So we're asking
form
people.
here.
We're asking people to sign our Vote Together pledge, which says that we agree to vote with people across Canada to defeat the Harper Conservatives by voting for the best electable non-Conservative candidate
And who would that
in
be?
this riding.
Well, I'm just an interested senior who wishes things would be different, but can't do too much about it.
Would you
You
be interested
can.
in signing
You
our
can make a big
pledge
difference.
and receiving more information about how you can use your vote to make
make
change?
a difference, yeah.
We have been working in key swing ridings across Canada, Elmwood-Transcona being one of them, and we have been knocking on doors, finding the people who are those progressive voters and do want to see change in Canada, are ready to see the Harper Conservatives move on.
Erin Keating is the Elmwood-Transcona team lead with Leadnow. She wants constituents to vote strategically.
And we are asking them to pledge to vote for the candidate who has the best chance of beating the Conservatives in the next election. So at this point, we have not actually defined who that is. We've done one poll in that area, and it shows that the NDP are in the lead. But we realize that that could change at any time, so we will be doing additional polling. Ultimately, we are bringing together the progressive parties, being the NDP, the Liberals, and the Green votes, to stop the vote splitting, which has allowed the Conservatives to gain 100% of the power in this country with only 39% of the votes.
Look, I'm aware of Leadnow, and you know, they can do the work that they feel they need to do. I just find it very ironic and interesting that, you know, the chair here in Manitoba is very, very closely affiliated with the NDP party, so they can say they're not affiliated. You know, come on, we're not naive, we're not foolish, and you know, go out there and say that they have no political affiliation.
Do you think they're going to hurt you in this campaign?
I don't believe so, because I believe people see through what they're trying to do. You know, it's interesting that they talk about that they're there for democracy, and that they're the ones that actually are going out there trying to some degree, pervert it by saying, well, you know, don't vote what you really believe in, but vote this way. Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. Hey, thanks. Thanks so much for the great work you're doing here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lawrence Tote is checking in at this community center that's holding a food program.
So we have some pre-made bags.
Okay.
If people are in a hurry and they're in a rush.
So you've got some grapes and some
Grapes.
and some
nectarines.
peppers and some
Pears.
and peaches and.
And Blakey is listening to seniors and their concerns.
I'm running. I mean, I've been involved with politics my whole life long, but I chose to run now because of the sense of urgency around getting rid of the Harper government. And we've had 10 years of Harper government now, and what I'm hearing on the doorstep of what we know in the NDP is that the plan, as promised, isn't working. We'd like to form a government. We'd like the kind of Canadian political dialogue to be around how do we better solve some of these problems instead of are we going to bother trying to solve them at all and just let Canadians fend for themselves. So I hope that gives you a bit of a sense of why it is that I'm running and why I'm running now. And I think from here we could just go to questions.
I've been to many reserves in Manitoba, and we have a number of reserves that are in third world conditions, and it's absolutely appalling. What would an NDP government do to address these issues?
Because I am Métis myself, and so murdered and missing Aboriginal women has got to be right at the top of the agenda. We have to do something about that. Water, access to water. How about some roads?
And there has been for a while now a clear commitment to call and inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women within the first 100 days of government. And there's some good work on permanent roads being done by the NDP government here now to try and give access to those First Nations to well, do the economy.
Through all these encounters, Blakey says it's important to stay grounded. What advice have you gotten from your father?
Well, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned from my dad, or the things that he's most likely to tell you, is just to be straightforward with people, and to not promise things. There's a temptation sometimes that there's pressure. People are really passionate about a certain issue. There's a pressure to want to please, but I think he was well respected for being a straight shooter and not committing to things that he knew he couldn't deliver on. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that honesty actually is the best policy in politics.
And despite a grueling and very long campaign, the candidates remain positive. What do you think is going to happen on Election Day?
What do I think is going to happen in my riding? Well, Liberals are going to win.
We're obviously hoping for a win. We think it's there. It's just a matter of being sure to remind people on Election Day to be sure to go out and vote.
On Election Day, I believe we're going to be able to stand at the end of the day and say we ran a successful campaign and are able to continue representing the community.
For CPAC, I'm Kenneth Bell in Elmwood-Transcona.